Hola, 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 ¿cómo están? Espero que estén muy bien. Bienvenidos a mi página. Mi nombre es Simonet. Hi, 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 hi. Hola, 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 hola. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Espero que estén muy, 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 muy bien. All right. If you are here, just drop a comment in the chat, por favor. Let me just do a quick one on Instagram. Hola a todos, please join me on YouTube. I'm live right now. Hola a todos, please join me on YouTube. I'm live. Okay, ¿cómo están ustedes? Hola Kevin, hola Jaden. All right, so I'm putting it on my Instagram as we speak. Please share with your friends and family. Let's talk. Vamos a hablar. Hola Kevin, Jaden, Renee, Ashley. ¿Cómo están ustedes? So, as you can see, it says let's talk. So, vamos a hablar. Yo quiero saber, I want to know how were your first 2 weeks of back to school? If you're a teacher, you're a parent, you are a student, you're a well-wisher or a friend, how was it? I want to hear from you. So let's start with that. Just a check-in. As a matter of fact, I should start with how are you? ¿Cómo están? So let's start with that. I want to hear how you're doing. If I might say so myself, like the first week, I felt a little bit overwhelmed. I'm not sure why. A lot of things coming from a lot of places. But last week was better. I'm not sure if anybody has had that experience. And so let's talk. Vamos a hablar. I see some persons here. So go ahead. Please leave your comments. You can write your comments now and I'll see them in real time. I will see them in real time. Kevin says, estoy muy bien. Ok, me alegro. Jaden, ¿cómo está? Renee Grant, ¿cómo está? ¿Cómo está? I want to hear what are some of the best practices, what are some of the things that are working as a teacher, what are some of the things that you have found out that works. You can share it with us. And students, I want to hear, what do you enjoy? Let us know. I know for a fact that each child is different, so it's not a one size fit all kind of thing. However, we want to hear. So as educators, we will learn something new today. Every opportunity, every encounter, every interaction is a learning opportunity. As parents, share what's working for you so that other parents can. You don't have to do the exact same thing, but sometimes you find something that you were not thinking about. It doesn't mean you're going to grab everything and say, oh, this person said they're doing this person. You know your reality, you know your situation, but maybe the person has something similar to you, so you could use that. All right. So let us start. Vamos a hablar. Now, for me, one of the things that I found that works for me, hace mucho calor. It is hot. For those who are learning Spanish, that means it is hot. So one of the things I found that worked for me is, the first day of school or first week, it's get to know your students. So you want to know what they enjoy. And you have some quizzes that you can send to find out what kind of learner they are. That's one of the things they can do. But also, as a teacher of Spanish, I asked my students, what does an ideal Spanish class look like to you? Because if you have 40 students in the class, then you might get 40 different responses. Some like when you have games, some students like when some say that they like writing, some like games, as I said before, some like using those interactive apps. Some like watching a movie, a video. So you'll find some like creating. So when you're planning your lessons now, you can bear those things in mind. But you don't have to ask this, okay, how do you prefer to learn? No. When they describe their ideal Spanish class, they'll say things like, in my ideal Spanish class, we play a lot of games, or we are in groups, or I get to talk to my friends, or I get to use the language in authentic settings, or I get to create videos, or they will tell you what they like. And then from that, you can plan your lessons. So that's one of the things that I find that works. And it just changed the question a bit. So you can look into that also. The great Kitson Sherman also um, published something over the weekend which I found very interesting, which was like he sent his students like an outline what he wants them to do on the weekend. So you should watch a Spanish movie and answer some questions, or you should these, and he gave them a list of some suggestions, because you as a teacher, you're facilitating, you're guiding your students. You don't just go say watch a movie, because they might end up watching a movie that is PG-21 or PG-18, but ideally you probably want PG-13. So you guide them. So they had like 12 movies that they could select from. So that was great. That's something that you can have them do. But as educators, I want to hear what are some of the things that you are doing. So that's why it's called Let's Talk. Vamos a hablar. I want to hear from you. So it's not just a, oh, you can do this, you can do this. I want to hear what you're doing, what works for you. And so if you're an educator in the chat, I'm looking in the chat. I'll be looking mostly in the chat to see what you're saying, so that we can continue the discussion. Renee says, muy bien, siga descansando. Me alegro. That's very important. Rest is very important in all of this. Jaden says, bueno. Okay. So, as students, what are some of the things that you enjoy? I want to hear from you. And as parents, what works for you? And also, I want to encourage you, the parents, you have to be involved in the process. And I find that as an educator, what really works is when parents, students, all the stakeholders buy into it. Meaning, if I don't see a student, I can say, send a message in the group or call the parent, and then I know that it's not just me trying to reach out to the child, but the parent is also involved. And once we all understand the importance of education, I promise you, you'll see a huge change. But I want to hear from you. Nikki says game. You like when games are used. So a few of the games, and I want you guys to mention some. We know quizzes, we know Kahoot. You can even use Ed Puzzle. You can find ways to involve your students. I find also that I use Canva in the classroom. I give them the opportunity to create things. So even for example, day one, as opposed to buenos dias, mi nombre es Simonet Hibbert. That's one of the things you can do. Or you can have them create a business card, or you can have them create a profile. They can go on Canva, they can put their picture, they can put nombre, edad, nacionalidad, and then they can present that orally. But we are dealing with digital natives. Hence, the approach that we're going to use, we'll have to be using things that are interesting to them. We have to find out what they enjoy. It's not the regular chalk and talk. But guys, as I said, this is an interaction, so I want to hear from you. So I'm gonna wait to see. I'm waiting un minuto. Un minuto. Un minuto. So let's see. Un momento. Okay. Are you ready? ¿Están listos? All right, Canva is the best. Yes, it is so amazing, and they have so many so many. They have a lot of templates. Also, Canva, Canva, should not be confused with Canvas, because there's one called Canva, Canva, and you have Canvas. You can also use that. You can also use Poster My Wall, Postermy, and then wall, Wall. So you can check that out. I see students use Pick Art and all of those, but I love Canva and I like Poster My Wall. So you can check it out. But I want to hear what works for you. I want to hear that. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear from you. What's one thing that works for you, or two things, or something that we might not even be thinking about? Something that we might not be thinking about. All right, so I'm just telling some other persons that we are live now. So, and I'm gonna share the live. So I want to hear. Let's go. Let's go. It's a conversation. And earlier I asked some persons. I'm looking also at your responses. I'd asked earlier how was your first 2 weeks, and I have some persons who says they said that it was good. So some persons had a good weekend, good first 2 weeks. Let me see what else I'm seeing here. All right, let's see what else. So some persons had a great first 2 weeks. But regardless of how your first 2 weeks were, I want to encourage you today. So today, however you're feeling right now, let's, if it's not positive, let's work on it. How could we make it better? What can we do? Because we are getting a lot of things coming from left and right. That's fine. However, how can you reach out for help? How can you, I always speak about mindset, because it depends on how you look at it. You can look at it as a learning opportunity. You can look at it as an opportunity for growth. And you just start where you're at and understand that mistakes are a part of learning. So that is very important, because I find that sometimes, myself included, we get overwhelmed because we're looking at everything and we're trying to do everything at once. Start somewhere and practice, and understand that mistakes are a part of learning. And as I would have said in the webinar previously, the brain is like a muscle. So the more you use it, the stronger it gets. And of course, you need to rest. All right, Hola, Anna, Alfonso. Yes, that is a Sia. Very good. And I like how you put the patois with it. See, correcto. Correct. All right. So, again, we're asking what are some of your best practices as teachers? And this is not just teachers of Spanish. Whatever language or subject that you teach, share your best practices. We can adapt, and you might help somebody else. That's one. Two, students, what do you do? How do you plan for the week ahead? And also, what did you enjoy? Is there anything that your teacher did that you said, yes, I loved this? And if you're a parent here, talk to us. Tell us, how is it going? What are you doing? How are you coping? What are your best practices? Is it that you ensure that they don't have any screen time? For example, when I say screen time, you're not watching a movie, you're not playing a game for an hour, and you have to dedicate this time to your schoolwork, or what is it that you are doing? Let us share. I want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. So I'm checking the chat if you see me looking here. I want to hear what are some of your best practices. Feliz cumpleaños. Hola, Señor Fair. So, again, we're talking about best practices as teachers, as educators. What are some of your best practices? What do you find that works for you in your classroom? And again, understanding that our students are different, but we want to hear what works for you because it might work for somebody else. That's one. Two, students, what did you enjoy in the first 2 weeks, and how do you prepare for school? And finally, parents, we want to hear from you. So I spoke to you about the first thing, which was what's your ideal Spanish class or whichever subject you teach, you can use that. But I find that also assigning students an accountability partner works for me. So I don't know if it's something that you want to try out or if it's something that you have been using, you can let me know. But having an accountability partner as a student, I find that we're in the middle of we know that we're in the middle of a pandemic, but also what it does, it tells you you are not alone. So you have somebody who is doing the same subject, same content, you're in the same group, and you're working towards a common goal. So that way, what will happen is that, and you can pair them, you can allow them to pair, you can allow them to pair so they can go in their groups, or you determine. And what I find is I ask them, I say, do you want to select your accountability partner? Of course, with guidance. Or do you want to, for example, I can assign you. So I find that that works. So how does it work? So the first thing, if you have an accountability partner, when it's time for class, I want to know. So if Mary and John are accountability partners, if John is not gonna be in class, he will communicate with Mary and say, could you tell Miss that I will not be at class? Of course, he'll send me a message, but just in case. Also, if John comes to class and don't see Mary, he will reach out to Mary. It's one of those things. I find that it works because this partner wants to make sure that their partner is there, and I find that it works for my students. Again, you have to know your students, and you have to know what will work. Anna Davis is saying, yes, that works for me too. Awesome. It does. It really does once it's done properly. And again, you know your students. So you can determine. There are some classes where it's better if you assign them because you know their strengths. You have an idea of strengths and weaknesses, or you know your objective because you're not just assigning students as accountability partner just to say, oh, we have two persons working together. You have an idea of what you want to achieve by assigning accountability partners. When you have to help each one to understand that they have a role. So it's not a case where one person is copying the homework or one person is showing up and the other is not. So it's both of them. So see. All right, let me hear what else works for you. So gracias, Anna Davis. Anybody else? ¿Qué más? What works for you? Yo quiero saber que está. Let me look for that thing. Kitson had sent, as I was telling you, some movies. While we're thinking about what else works, let me find the movies that he suggested, and I can share them with you in the meantime. So, Coco, I don't know if you um have used Coco. You have watched Coco, Lo siento. Because I was reading what Anna said. I adapted that from you last year, and it was a very good strategy. Muchas gracias. Thank you. I'm happy to hear that. So, if you've watched Coco, that's PG, and he said it's 1 hour and 41 minutes. Canela, also PG, 1 hour and 40 minutes. Book of Life, PG, 1 hour and 35 minutes. Zippy and Zappe, y la Isla del Capitan, 1 hour and 45 minutes. And these are available on Netflix. Atletico San Pancho, 1 hour and 41 minutes. Uh, Pachamama, 1 hour and 12 minutes. and Ferdinand. So you can watch, if you're looking for some Spanish movies to watch, Coco, Canela, Book of Life, Zippy Zappe y la Isla del Capitan, Atlético Pancho, Pachamama, and Ferdinand. As I said, these were suggested by the great Kitson Sherman. You have seen him on this channel before. All right, so we have established some of the things that work. So I want to hear, students are saying they like games in the chat. What else? Let me hear. ¿Qué más? Yo quiero saber qué más. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? What else? And ¿qué más significa what else? What else? Hola. All right, I have the great Stephanie Blair Allen. Hola, hola. So, we're speaking about best practices and we're speaking about what works as a parent for you, and we're also asking students to talk about what they enjoy. So, if you have any insight you can share with us, Steph, I would greatly appreciate it. So, whatever works for you in your classroom or something that you realize that, this really, really works, you can share it with us. So, guys, I'm checking the comments, I'm checking to see um, your answers and I'll be sharing them. So feel free to share your answers. Okay? See. So, ¿quién va a decir? ¿Quién va a hablar? Who's gonna talk? Who is gonna talk? And if you have watched any of the movies that I suggested, you can also. Collaborating live using Google Docs and Slide is simply yet effective. Really, it is. And so students can, you can see in real time, students can see it in real time. And you know what I realized, Steph, is that it almost, well, it simulates like this live where they're seeing these things, or TikTok live, or Instagram live. And we need to cater to our students because they get things so quick, information is fed to them so quickly. So when they see they can change something in real time, I find that that works. So definitely. And you can also use Google Hangouts. So you use the sticky notes. I find that that works too. So the sticky notes, and you put it on the screen. So Mary will put up a yellow one. John might put up a blue one, and you can see all of those in real time. You can see them working. They can see each other. So that definitely works. Shore says it really works for me too. See, so collaboration, and that's what I'm saying too. With collaboration, with the accountability partners, we're getting collaboration, and here live, we're having collaboration, and we're using technology because sometimes getting a lesson to be student centered, we want to make sure that yes, we're guiding our students, but we have them doing some of the work. Because sometimes, just sometimes, the reason why some of us are so tired, because we are tired and we're getting a lot to do, but sometimes we're so tired because we are doing everything. You're teaching the whole lesson, and you're not giving students the opportunity to discover information. So yes, glad to hear that. And these are some of the greatest teachers here, so I'm happy to hear that. All right, so collaboration, games, accountability partners. Um, so using Google, and also one of the things. Work your way around Google, because for the most part, most of us are using the G Suite. So ensure that you are checking the new features in Google, because from time to time they update it. Yes, Jamboard. Yes, that's what I was talking about. So you use the Jamboard. Encourage your students. Sometimes they're using a phone, and if they're using a tablet, sometimes, especially, I know for the tablet, it asks them to download the app. So just encourage them from before, because you know some of the things they're going to use. Or if, even next week when you go, you can say to them, please download the app. Because sometimes I find when you're using a computer, it's readily available. But sometimes they might say to you, it's not working. It's not that it's not working, it's just that they need to download the app. So just encourage them to download the app. All right, so Jamboard, collaboration, Google Docs, Google Slide, Canva, as I said before. So we have Canva, Canva, and we have Canvas with the S on the end. You can use that. You can also use Poster My Wall. That's one of the ones that you can have them create stuff. Create a birthday card, create a menu. Use the technology and have them create things. Have them, because some persons like creating, or you can have them create a video. Even recently, I found out that you can create your own emoji. So you have Bitmoji. I've used Bitmoji before, but you can create your own emojis. So you can get a picture of yourself, create your own emojis, and then you can, as a teacher, you can use your picture and put it beside it. You can say yay, well, depending on what you speak. So if you're doing Spanish, you could say muy bien, or excelente, or bien hecho. Or if you want them to try again, you can let them know. And if a math teacher, Spanish teacher, science teacher, whichever subject, you can definitely add it to it. So you can create your own emojis. We have to find new ways. You can imagine you will see your teacher like, Hola, and not just the emoji, the yellow emoji with the thumbs up, but an actual picture of the teacher. You can definitely do that. Yes. Gracia Shore, live worksheets and ed puzzles. Yes, 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 yes. Definitely. You can use live worksheets and you can find them online. And for whatever subject you're teaching, it's almost certain that you're gonna find a live worksheet that you can use or you edit and ed puzzles. So yes, because again, you want to move away from the traditional write this. Yes, you will incorporate that, but it can't be that every time. And I find that students stay interested when they're not sure what will happen next. Because if we know that next week Miss is coming with a PowerPoint, or if we know that Miss is gonna use quizzes every week, it gets boring over a period of time. What as adults, if we know exactly what's gonna happen, we get bored too. So let's bear that in mind. So that's awesome. All right, let's see. Shore is saying Google Earth is also good. My grade sevens love that. They selected the countries they wanted to go virtually. Yes, 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 yes. And you can turn on the sound so it can tell them where they're going. And you can even change the language if you're speaking Spanish or you're teaching French or whichever language you're teaching. But if you are teaching geography or maybe social studies or history and you want them to go to a particular area, you can do it too and have them, you can have them put it in 3D or you can do the 2D and they can know where they're at. And yes, muchísimas gracias. That's awesome too. And also you can visit those museums. They have some, because of what's happening, you can visit museums virtually. So you could have them actually walk through, because this it's set up just like that. So yes, it's something you can use in Spanish. You can use it in any subject, social studies, whichever subject you are doing. You can find a way to incorporate some of these things that they know or that you can expose them to. Because even in Jamaica, you can have them look at areas in Jamaica. Some persons might have not gone to a certain place, but they can see it and feel like they're there. So yes, virtual travel is the way to go. All right, me alegro. I'm getting some really, really great ideas. Me gusta mucho. And we're seeing the incorporation of technology, ICT strategies, which is very, very important. And after they're finished, this is something they can go on, and if they want to explore some more, they can outside of the classroom. So yes, Google Earth. And you can download the app. Even the Google Map also show you. So yes, muchas gracias. I love these ideas. I'm so excited. Anything else that you use that works for you, best practices, go ahead and share so we can know. And if you happen to be watching this video after the live, it's not too late. You can go ahead and write it in the comment sections. We'll check back and look at it. Well, I'll check back. I know some persons will check back too, but I'll definitely be checking back. So, ¿qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? Also, so I find that the educators that would have given us some best practices um, for parents. So as parents, what are some of the things that you do? Because I have seen some status, and I'm telling you, some persons are going through it, meaning they feel overwhelmed. There are there are a lot of things happening, especially for educators who are also teachers. Because imagine this, look at this scene. Let me paint the scene for you. But you are here, you have two children, two different ages. So one might be, let's say, 7 and one 12. And they have a class. So the teacher is talking over there. I find that, well, one of the things I would suggest also is if you can get like headset for them, because sometimes you will hear like a teacher talking in the background of another student's class. If you have a child, a student in your class, so you hear the other teacher. So as parents, I'd suggest if you get a headset, it might be better for you. But sometimes, because you want to monitor what's happening, especially if it's a smaller child, you want to hear what the teacher is saying so you can guide your child. So depending on the age group, you can get a headset. But wishing you all the best. And for those who have any tips that you can give, please share so that others who might be going through the same thing, because I know it's not just one set of persons. I can just imagine one person over here talking, another one talking, and you are teaching, or you are doing work from home, or maybe you're working at a call center and they're talking. And especially in the call center environment, you want to make sure that your background is quiet. So it is indeed some challenging times, but you've done a year and you have done well so far. And I just want to encourage you. Yes, you keep going. Don't give up. You are awesome. Yes, through all of this, you have done a good job. So keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And also, please, 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 word of advice. Remember that school time, there's a schedule. So if it's from 8 to 3 or 7 to 2, that is school time. So pretend that they're still at school. Don't send them to go buy stuff and use use go and do this. Go and no, pretend that they're still at school, because you want them to get no. Let me not say pretend that they're still at school. They're still at school, but I want you to pretend that they were not at home and they have gone to school. You could not send them to the shop if they were in face-to-face classes. So let us operate like that. We don't want, and also as parents, ensure that you work on the background noise, because you don't want to disrupt a class, and you just find a space for them also. But again, thank you. For some persons had to get a new device, some persons had to connect wi-fi at their homes, or you had to get data. So you are doing a fantastic job, and we could, as educators, we could not do it without you. Because if you said, all right, nobody turned on my modem, or nobody does this or that, then we would not um, be able to have the classes. So we are working together. We are a team. It's parents, students, educators, and stakeholders. It's not a it's not a war. We are a team. We're on the same team, and we should and we have one common objective, which is to ensure that your children get the best education that they can get. All right, Stephanie says, I shall tell my colleagues to use Google Earth. Yes, and I promise you they are going to love it. Yes, okay. All right, so let's hear what other best practice. I want to hear from you. I want to hear, or if you have any challenges, put it in the chat. Let's see if we can work them out as you prepare for the week ahead. Anna Davis says, please allow the child to do the work for themselves. That's a very good point. Because if you, you know what, I found some, let me just say this more. Um, I was watching stuff from the Cuffs, Basilia Cuff, but she is on TikTok and she has La Dasha, no, La Dasha Kwan. Yes, and it's one of her skits, but she was saying the teacher was saying to the young lady, based on the homework that you handed in, we think you need additional help. And the child was saying, like, me not take no repeat, and my mother do the work. So, two things. If you do the work, the child, and also I think one of the reasons why that happens is because we just look at the final product. I remember in the previous webinar, we said that learning is a process, it's not a final product. So we need to bear that in mind. So it's not the grade that the child gets that will that will determine, all right, they're smart or not, because we should not measure intelligence on a grade by itself. So allow the child, as Anna Davis just rightfully said, to do the assignment. As parents you can guide them, but allow the child to do the assignments. Whatever age group the child is, you guide them accordingly, but do not take the work and just complete it for them, because when they come to the class, they will not know what's happening. And also, in order for the teacher to track their progress or to help them to become the best version of themselves, the teacher has to know where they're at so they can help them. All right? Yes, children. Yes, yes, yes. Both of them, whichever age they're at. All right. Anything else? That's very important though. And also their parents group. Your child, this is a time you can find out from another parent what works for them too in the WhatsApp group. So, what else? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? What else? I want to hear what else you have to say. Oh, all right, let's talk about routine also. In the morning, when you get up, you set the tone for your day. You set the tone for your day. Again, you set the tone for your day. So, whatever your routine is, if in the morning you get up, you say an affirmation, or you pray, or you have your devotion, or you listen to your favorite song, or you exercise, do something that you love. And so that when you approach as a teacher, as a student, when you approach the teaching learning environment, you are happy to be there. Because if you go there already saying, Lord, it's a go rough, then you already approach it with the mindset that this is going to be difficult or this is going to be a rough day. It's up to you. So start the day. So whatever it is that you enjoy, think about it. If it's exercise, if it's your favorite meal, If it's a song, if it's devotion, whatever it is, if it's speaking to your favorite person, try and start the day right. And I promise you, your outlook and even your attitude in the class, because regardless, even though it's online, know that you what however you're feeling, it comes across. As if I came on here and say, see guys, yes, we're gonna talk about, then it's totally different than if I say hola, como están, and you set the tone for your day. So please bear that in mind. You set the tone for your day. All right. And get up if you want to put on your favorite jacket, or you just you set the tone. You set the tone for your day. And another thing, I don't know if we pay a lot of attention to this, but while you should not force students to turn on their cameras, because that's completely their choice, and it, for whatever reason, they might, depending on where they're at or the background is, they might not want to turn on their camera. Oh, and I also want to let you know you can blur your background on Google Meet. So that's something you can look into if you have your cameras turned on and you don't want persons to see your actual background, you can blur it. That's one. But if students don't have their cameras on, encourage them to put a picture of themselves, because I find that it takes more energy. If you're talking to persons and you're seeing them, you can see their facial expressions, you can see their mannerism. It also helps you to see, because just like face to face, you see, oh, this one looks confused, or this one seems to be enjoying it, or this one seems to be, like, for example, dazed or looking out of space or daydreaming. You can address it accordingly. However, if it's a case where for whatever reason the camera is not on, encourage them to turn to put a picture, because I find, and I don't know if this is just for me, but when I'm seeing just the letters, I feel like, yes, it takes more energy even when I'm seeing the pictures, but it takes way more energy when I'm seeing the letters, because it just looks like the alphabet across the screen. And so I just want to encourage you. Encourage them to put a picture. So us, not only for that, but you will know exactly who you're talking to. Because if this is a seventh grade class, chances are you've never seen them before. Even some eighth grade, ninth graders, you might have not seen them before. Because bear in mind that all of last year, for the most part, it was online, and it was from March the year before that you would have seen them face to face. So encourage them to put up a picture so you can put a face to the name, and you can get an understanding of better understanding of who your students are. Something that I saw somebody did, which I find very, very interesting too, is creating a student profile. So the person sent it to the students at the beginning of the term, but it's still not too late. We're going in week 3, and they fill out their name, their age, um, telephone numbers, but you could add to it their interest, what they like, so you can tie it into the classes. What do they like, or if they could visit one place, what would it be? And then when we're doing using Google Earth, as Shori would have suggested, or you could have them go to that place, or you can say, John, you always wanted to visit Cuba or Spain or Puerto Rico. Here you'll get an opportunity to visit Puerto Rico. We're gonna go there today. So that's one of the things. So you use a Google form, and then you can have them fill it out. And you can add what you want. Name, the telephone number, you can get address if you want, you can find out interest, you can find out anything that you would need for you to better help your students. You could add that to your student profile. And you have that for all your students. Get a picture, and you could also look back at it at any given time. If you even see this person, you're marking, grading and giving feedback, and then you see, oh, this person did not do a particular thing, then you could say, so for example, based on the person say, I like when I'm watching movies or watching videos and I'm writing, and then you find that, or they don't enjoy writing, and you find that whenever you give them a written assignment, then the performance is different, or when you give them a video, they do well, or they tend to hand in the assignment that is a video, but whenever you give them something that they're supposed to write, you find that they don't show up. Then you get a better understanding, and then you can reach out to them, and then you are starting from a place of knowledge, as opposed to saying, why didn't you turn it in? You could speak to them. I know that you don't like um writing essays, however, and then you can address it. Hola Rose TV, ¿cómo estás? Hola Ishakar Chambers. Hola Neshama. Hola Sharnoak. Hola Monique. Hola a todos. Again, as parents, as educators, as students, what are some of the things that you enjoy in the teaching learning process? So as we get to the end of this, I want to hear from you. So what are your challenges? What are some of the things that you enjoy? And what are some of your best practices? I want to hear. And in recapping, we would have seen that we can collaborate using Google. We can use Google Map, Google Slides, we can use Jamboard to collaborate. These are just a few of the ways we can collaborate. We can stay in the comfort of our homes and travel virtually using Google Map or Google Earth. Again, reminding parents to allow students to do the work. You can guide them, but do not complete don't do the work for them, because in the end that's not helping them. I'm looking at some of the comments I saw earlier. Again, use it. You can use accountability partners depending on your students. You can check it out. You can check out Canvas. So it's two separate things. Canva is one, Canvas is also one, and Post on My Wall. You can use this. There are templates for everything. PowerPoint, PowerPoint. You have um, flyers, brochures, posters, business cards, whatever it is, there's a template for it. And you can allow your students to create birthday cards. You can allow them to create business cards. You can allow them to create something to introduce themselves. You can allow them to create PowerPoints, whatever it is that you want them to do. You can have them play games. You can use quizzes, Quizlet, Kahoot. You can use Ed Puzzle, among others. So you can use those things for games. For video, you can have them, especially if you teach Spanish, you can have them watch my YouTube channel. I do have a playlist for every grade. So grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, for those doing CSEC, for those who are doing beginning Spanish, check it out. And if you're looking for technology, there's something here for you. And if you're just a parent, a teacher, a student, and you're looking for something, I have tips for parents separately. I have tips for students. I have tips for teachers, and I have using WhatsApp. And last week we did a wonderful webinar. Well, the fifth, we did a wonderful webinar telling you about mental health, checking your bolts and nuts, talking about growth mindset, and we also spoke about what it looks like in the classroom. And we also had a presentation on some apps that you can use in your classroom, because that was when I found out that the ministry has what you call book fusion, where you can find some of the books that you would need or your child would need from the ministry's website. So you can check it out. Book fusion. All right. So any other challenges, any comments before I go? Tenemos como 5 minutos más. We have about 5 minutes left. So I would love to hear from you. ¿Qué más? If you have anything to say, you can write it in the chat before I go. Anything that you want me to answer, any questions, let me know. You can let me know. But again, I thank you all for your contribution. I'm sure that everybody would have left here with something new today, or even if you were doing it already, you realize that others are doing it too. So keep up the good work. And as you prepare for this week, I pray that this week will be the best week of your teaching career so far, or as students the best week, or as parents the best week, as stakeholders the best week. I again encourage you, look at your mindset. How are you going to start the week? What are you bringing into the week? How are you looking forward to the week? Is it from this perspective that everything is going to go left and this is not going to work out? Or you're going to understand that mistakes are a part of learning, and with a growth mindset, you understand that you will encounter challenges. It's a part of it. You are going to make mistakes. Mistakes are a part of learning. But you are going to reach out to persons who can help, or you are going to just keep working and keep practicing. And remember, all of this is a process. It is a process, it's not a product. One lesson that you would have taught and it didn't go the way you wanted it to be doesn't mean that you are a bad teacher. It means that you have room for growth opportunities, and just work on it. So the last 2 weeks were good, awesome. Let's make this week better. If the last 2 weeks were not the greatest, well, let's look at it. Tomorrow is a new day, new beginning. You can get a new start, and you can do this. Yes, 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 yes. Sí, sí, sí. You can. Sí se puede. You can do this. So I just want to thank each and everyone who showed up, each and everyone who's going to comment in the future, and each and everyone who is going to go out there with a new mindset. Or if you already had the mindset, just continue doing it. But I'm just reminding you that I'm proud of you. You are doing well. We are all surviving a pandemic. So remember that a lot of things are happening around us. We are hearing some not so good news. Some persons are getting some good news. But whatever it is, know that you are not alone. Know that you are special. Know that there's nobody else exactly like you. And with that being said, I'm going to end with the affirmation that I normally use, which is I am enough. It says, I am enough. I'm in no competition with anyone else. Every day, I'll try to become a better version of myself. I am special. I am unique. I have a voice, and so I will speak. I am the greatest. I am the greatest, and I will always strive to do my best. I am the greatest. I am the greatest, and I am enough. Bear that in mind, that you are enough, you're awesome. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and thank you so much for your time. Muchísimas gracias. Again, thank you to everyone who came, you participated, or you watched, or you're going to put a comment in the future. Muchísimas gracias. Tengan ustedes un buen día. Chao, chao, chao.